In this video, I want to talk about